All right, welcome back. We are INFR2350. That's Intermediate Computer Graphics in the Winter 2021 semester at Ontario Tech University. And this is our last week of class, week 12. And it's our final presentation checkpoint that we're here for. And I think most of us are here at this point. I'm looking at the participants list. Looks pretty full. So where are we? We're sitting at the bottom of the semester, right at week 12. Today we're doing our presentation checkpoints. And I've shared the presentation order with you. And that's up on both on Canvas as well as on Discord, just so we can follow that order. So what are we doing this week? We're doing our final presentation checkpoint, also known as checkpoint 4. And assignment 4 is due still on Sunday, April the 11th. That's this weekend. As well as one thing I didn't put here is your, which I should probably put in here as well for those people who are watching remotely on YouTube, your GDW requirements, right? Well, actually it is here. It's GDW requirements Monday, April 12th. So some people have asked about the report. Again, just make sure you create a very simple report. You can use PDF format. I'm not asking for IEEE format at all, to make sure that you are you kind of answer some of the requirements for the GDW for your GDW project. Okay, so again, for those people who are non-GDW students, remember that one thing that is required from you is that you put together a gamified experience with assignments 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, it behooves you to finish off assignment 4 and then hand in everything for your GDW project requirements for Monday. All right, so that is something that is due for you guys. So that is what's happening. For your final presentations that you're gonna show me this week, one thing to note is that checkpoint 4, the submission box, is open on Canvas right now. Please make sure you submit the current version of your PDF of your PowerPoint document, as well as a short video, just like the checkpoint requirements. The checkpoint requirements are the exact same for this one, even though it's your final presentation. So make sure that you follow the requirements and submit your presentations and a link to your video that you'll be doing. Okay, I'll also be recording this class so that when Nick has a chance to look at it as well, we can look at your final presentations. And this will be a precursor to what it's going to look like on Gamecon, which is coming up in a couple of days. So let's take a look at some other stuff just to revamp or revisit. Just a reminder that next week, starting on April the 12th, I'm going to release your written first part of your final exam, which is the written portion. It's going to be released most likely on Monday, as early as I can release it. You'll have the entire week to complete it. It'll be due by the end of the week. And again, I'll give you more details on the Monday. I most likely will accompany the release of the exam, this exam part, as well as the final practical exam, with a short video to detail what I require from you. So that way, go through the actual exam document itself, and I'll post the video for you guys to look at, just to make sure that you hit all of the, the things that you require. Okay, so that is coming up next week. So please look out for that, because that is going to be worth, together, combined, written and practical, 15% of your final grade. Nicholas asks, approximate time 1 hour. Do you mean that it has to take an hour to write or to read? No, I'm not going to make you write something that's going to take me an hour to read. Forget that. That's crazy. No, it's going to be, think about it as, I'm going to try and make it so that you can complete it within an hour. That's what it means. So that means your practical will be able to be completed within 2 hours. So Nick and I are going to be working on giving you a good starter for this one as well. Yeah, no, I don't expect it to be that long at all. Like I said, I'm thinking about it as a little micro blog with a few questions rolled in there as well to make it more interesting for yourself. So just wanted to revamp this thing as well, or revisit, because I know that people have asked some questions. Yes, absolutely. An hour is a lot of writing. I can read a lot in an hour. So no, I don't expect it to last that long. Heck, when I remember in GDW when they told us your game level has to last for 5 minutes. I was like, woo, wow, that's crazy long. 5 minutes. That's a long level to make sure that it at least lasts for 5 minutes. Sometimes it's pretty tough to do. Okay, so so making you do an hour of time is pretty tough. So that's any of the questions around your final exam. Again, I'll give you more details for each of these pieces here in a short video, as well as a document that's going to be released on Canvas. So you'll have a chance to look at that, alongside everything that's due. Okay, let's go into the next piece, which is Gamecon coming up on Friday. Again, this is a shameless plug for Gamecon for those people who are watching on YouTube. So you can connect on Gamecon. There is a link that I will share later on for, you can watch it live on Twitch. As an example, there is a site. If you go to gamecon.ca, so gamecon.ca, spelled like this, .ca, then you'll have a chance to look at this. It's been put on by your GDSA exec team, which, kudos and shout outs go to those people. I think they've done a fantastic job this year of supporting you guys. So really great work, guys. And of course, you guys are going to be hosting. These are some of the games that are up right now in the second year games section of the Gamecon website. So make sure for those people who haven't had a chance to submit, if there's anybody else, that there's a chance that they might be able to put this up on time. And I think there's some really great, I looked at all these little videos, the ones that were up here anyway, and there's some really great little demo videos that you guys have put up about your game. And I'm hoping that that is even going to change as you submit the final versions of your game. So really great work, guys. And now, without further ado, we're going to start with our presentations. So the first people that are up are Harmonic Industries. And again, if I can get you guys to share your, video and all that stuff, I'm going to stop sharing mine and I'll let you guys do your thing like we normally do. And I'm going to pull this screen, your screen down when you're ready, into mine so that it's shared on YouTube. Okay. Without further ado, I'll take it away. Harmonic Industries. Do you want to share your stuff now?
Yeah, thank you. All right. All right. So today is our checkpoint industries. Just to remind you, everybody in our group, this is our team. And just one last refresher on what the game's about. It's a turn-based racing game that combines a RPG with a racing game. It plays like the classic RPGs you know and love, but you drive a car. You do actions like accelerating, braking, shifting gears to replace your swinging axes and swords or casting stuff. And then the RPG item mechanic has been replaced with cards you can use to do more racing-related actions and gain the same sort of advantage an item gives you. So we have some updated graphics here. So we've redesigned our cards to better fit our pixel art style. That's our final UI right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Our game's still pixel, low poly design. So at this moment, pretty much all of our line components are complete. On lighting, we haven't done room lighting yet. We're going to look into that, but we're not sure if we're going to be able to put it in by the end. Just because it might affect the way things look. I'm pretty happy with the final look of the game as it is. Additionally, we're kind of looking into adding more light, but once again, we're kind of just worried about changing the way it looks, and we're pretty happy with it. So, yeah. And then for post-process, texturing is all good. I did change it to complete in progress, but everything's green. Post-processing is good. Color correction is good. Bloom, since last time, we've added more blurs. The box blur is easy. The radial blur exists. It's not a proper radial blur, but it looks kind of fun, so it's in there right now as it is. And then shadow mapping is working. It's not finished. We still have more we can do on it, but it does in fact work. So let's show you it. Make sure. Okay. There we go. I hope that's not too loud. Okay. So we're going to start with the game here. And this loads into our tutorial level, which has voice clips teaching people how to play. So I'm just going to click to skip that, and we'll show some of our align stuff. So lighting toggles are back, turn ambient on off, diffuse on off, specular on and off, and our emissive power lighting on and off. It pretty much works like emissive lighting, so that's what we're using for our emissive. It just adds a value to a pixel color based on proximity. Zoom crash. No, okay, it disappeared on my screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we have all those toggles back. For turning off textures, our illumination accumulation buffer pretty much functions as turning off our textures, just because the way we use materials in our game, it's not very complex. For process and color, that's all still in there. We have cool, warm, and darken and saturate. For our balloon, so this is with a Gaussian blur. This is with a box blur, and this was our attempt at a radial blur. It definitely isn't a proper radial blur, but we think it looks cool, so we're gonna leave it in until I can get a proper, if I can get a proper radial blur into the game. As you saw there, the shadows were working. We still need to work a bit more on making sure shadows work across the entire map because they kind of disappear after a bit. But it's definitely within the realms of easily attainable. And then for our additional effects, as you know, we have our pixelation, which we're using at the base of our game because we really like the way it looks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, that's RPG. Thank you, everyone.
That's a great job. Just a couple of questions for me. So you said that sorry, you were saying that the rim lighting is something that you're not going to add in, a rim shader?
So, yeah, well, we haven't looked too much into it yet. We will see if we can get it in on time, but we're not sure, and we're not. We'll have to see how it looks. Just because we do like the way our game looks right now, and we're wondering if the rim could kind of affect that. But we're still interested in looking at it, but it's not like it might not end up in the final.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Any other questions or any comments from anybody else on this one? I think you guys did a great job. A lot of work that was done that I saw over the last little while, especially for me. Is that going to be your final version that you're going to have up for Gamecon, which is for
Yeah,
Friday?
this is pretty close to the final version for Gamecon. Yeah,
So really awesome. Great job, man.
thanks.
All right. Thanks so much. And let's get the next group up. So the next group up is Baby Phoenix, whenever you're ready. So Baby Phoenix with Blazer. Guys, anybody there from Baby Phoenix that's going to present?
Yeah, we're here. We're just like setting up the.
No problem. I just wanted I don't see anyone sharing screen, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly set up the code so then I can just start streaming as soon as it starts running.
Okay, and again, next on deck is Atlas X Games. So that after Baby Phoenix, right? So make sure that you guys are all ready to go. And then followed up by our non-GDW group with a game that has no name, at least from last time. Okay, so let's see.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. See my screen?
Yep. Whenever you're ready.
All right. Um, okay. Okay.
There you go.
I know. Just run this go run this. How do I move this? Okay. Okay. 1 sec. All right. 13 currently. Is there? So this person, baby, point. This as you're ordering. So Sean is Mr. The this I me as game program and a game of basically we the multi try the
You're I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you're really cutting out. You're really cutting out. Like really slow. Is there someone else that can do it with maybe a bit better bandwidth? Because we can't hardly hear you.
okay.
So sorry about that. So obviously, Baby Phoenix is having some technical issues on their end in terms of broadcasting. I'm not even thinking it's Zoom. I think it's something to do with bandwidth in general. So not sure why. I'm not sure if you're using the app or if you're using the web connection to Zoom, but the app is going to definitely give you more bandwidth. That's for sure. Perhaps we can rejig the order just for a second. I know you guys are ready, but I'd rather have you guys present when you can present. So I think what I'm going to do is just to move things along. I'm going to move to Atlas X Games, and then we'll come back to Baby Phoenix. Okay? So sorry about that, guys, but we need to move things along. So Atlas X Games, if you're ready, if you can share your screen, please, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're great. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, we're Atlas X Games. This is our checkpoint 4. The team quickly again. Moving along. Our game is called Dam Defense. Stationary first-person shooter tower defense game. Defend your dam from an incoming waves upon waves of enemy battleships. Primarily using a cannon. If the enemies do enough damage to your dam, you lose. And you can get more points by shooting ships that are further away. And we have a couple of special abilities, flamethrowers and dive bombing birds, to help you along, and a bright cartoony visual aesthetic. So for our line progress, with lighting, we are very close to being done. We have ambient, diffuse, and specular all in the game and working. Emissive is not currently being used in the game. However, it is implemented. We want to put it on an asset that is being created most likely today. And we haven't implemented rim lighting yet, but we plan on doing that later today as well. And then the only other thing with lighting is we haven't toggled it on and off yet. For the texturing, all of that is done. We're just creating the last couple of textures and stuff right now. Our post-processing color correction is done. We're going to add 2 more color modes for like colorblind options. However, there is color correction in the game already working. For our bloom, we have it completely done. We have multi-pass filtering with blur. the three different types of blur. We can change the number of passes and which type of blurring it is at runtime. Our shadow mapping is done. I'll explain what's going on with that in a moment. And we have tune shading as well. So for our launching our demo here. The main menu currently doesn't have color correction and bloom. We'll be adding those a little later today. So you can see here, currently the shadow maps aren't displaying. However, I did just check in RenderDoc and they are being rendered to the textures correctly. So I assume it's just been a merge error has turned them off. So that will be fixed before Friday. So yeah, you can see the bloom there on the clouds, the birds, and even the parts of the water, caustics. And we can play around with that. Create change the downscale factor, the number of passes, and even the threshold for the bloom and everything. And yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because we can't toggle it on and off right now, but there is, and we have just a directional light, but there is tune shading happening. We change the blur type for the bloom. And yeah. That's our game. Thank you for watching.
Really great work, Game. I think I really love your interface now. I think it was, I was looking forward to seeing what your game was going to look like again from the beginning. And I think the way you've moved it forward in terms of your menu screens and everything else, I think it really puts the game together. Different mechanics you've added in there, water caustics, which I'm delighted to see. So just overall, really great work, and I'm looking forward to seeing your game at Gamecon on Friday. Right, so great work. Thank you. All right. Not sure if Baby Phoenix is ready yet. If you are, then you can please go ahead. If you're not, we can skip to the next group, which is our non-GW group. So Baby Phoenix, are you ready to go?
Yep, we can go.
All right, great. Whenever you're ready, as soon as AIM stops sharing, then you can go ahead.
Okay, can you see?
Yep.
Okay, so we are Baby Phoenix, and this is our last one for Blizzard. So this is our team. He found our game producer, from one of our artists, and Manon and I are the partners for this game. So just another review again, just to remind you guys. So our game is about traveling across the multiverse. It's about destroying an alien race called the Quintus. And your objective is to score as high as you can, and you can also compete against your friends for the high score. So this is our MBA. Our mechanics is moving, shooting, surviving, using abilities, and destroying enemies, defeating the universe boss to get to the next universe. As our dynamic goes, our left trigger moves the player ship forward, the right trigger shoots bullets, left joystick rotates the player ship so you can turn left or right. The B button is to dodge, X button is to vulnerable. Our A button is used as like a kind of a pulse ability and it destroys all enemies around you. And our Y button is a reflector, which reflects enemy attacks. So our aesthetic, our game is focused primarily on with its fantasy, traveling across the multiverse and territory. Curiosity, excitement, and fulfillment are what players would feel. So this is our updated aligned components. We completed most of everything here. The only ones that we're working on is under lighting, which are misses and rim, which we are both in the process of. So we do have shadow mapping, but we are the one that we have right now is directional shadow, and we're looking into omnidirectional. So you may not, you will not see it in the demo today. Let me just pull up the game here. Have it ready. Okay. So this is our start menu. Transition. Okay. So this is the universe we have. You can see we do have particles happening over here, and also as a space up there. We do have particles for explosions as well. The enemies. You can see that you don't see the shadow mapping as of yet, but we do have it. Do have the lighting ready. As you can see, it's going to be dark on this side. Yeah, so the basic gameplay is pretty much done. Our first universe level is pretty much done. Once you beat a certain number of enemies, a boss should pop up. Let me just show you that here. It down. I think it's going to be this. Or not here. Yep, there he is. So you can see he has a little bit of he turns around to shoot at you. The bigger bullets are the gelatin boss. So, yeah. So how the game proceeds is once we shoot this enemy long enough, he disappears, and what would happen would be a universe teleport would appear over here, and you would fly through it to go to the next level, which is a green universe. Gamecon. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you for that. Yeah, much improved again for you guys as well. I really like your particle systems. Did you guys do that on the GPU or is it a CPU based particle system?
It is GPU based.
GPU based? That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, so a lot of stuff really looks great compared to the last time I look. It's really coming together. Like your game, when it first came out, I was like, wow, this is like an FPS kind of space game, kind of. But now it really starting to take form, really starting to take shape. So really great work. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
All right, our non-GDW group. If I can get you guys to come up now, and then followed by BitDisc on deck, and then Raw Chicken Productions. So non-GDW, you're up next.
All right. Hello, hello.
Hey there.
Okay. So, because of some issues, I'm going to be streaming the presentation here, and as soon as this is done, we're going to transition quickly over to Emery, who's going to have the demo up. And get started right away. Hello, everyone. We are non-GDW. This is obviously the last checkpoint for our game Rhythm Tower. We finally have a name. All right. So, our team, this is us, standard. All right, and just a quick overview for our game. Rhythm Tower is basically a single-player tower defense game where the objective is simply to utilize towers in order to defeat enemies, obviously. So the enemies that are attacking will be on beat of the song that is playing, along with your friendly towers will be shooting, also on beat. And this basically makes up the game and title as well. All right. So just standard mechanics, dynamic and aesthetics. The towers and enemy mobs will directly interact according with the beat, which is the main purpose. And there are 3 unique towers with 2 different enemy mobs, one large, one small. And it's all under the medieval aesthetic. All right, so for CG requirements, this is one of the most things we're proud of. We've had every single requirement implemented in our game for quite a while now. Majority of our time is spending on gamifying, aesthetics, making it look nice, and actually having a proper game loop going. The only thing that is in progress is the report, but that obviously is due another time. Everything else, lighting, texture, and color correction, bloom, shadow mapping, sync, that's all said and done. So with the art update, obviously you could tell there's a huge change with the previous checkpoint. We have a lot more assets finished and done and added in. You will be seeing that during our demo. So I'm going to toss it over to Emery. I'm going to stop sharing, and he's going to toss on his quickly.
All right. So I'm just waiting. Okay, let's go on. And all right, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So I'm just gonna go straight into it. And you can hear the audio too, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So right now this is our Rhythm Tower game. You can see the enemies are moving along the path. And as they continue forward, these towers shoot to us. So, blue towers are shooting every single beat, and the orange tower right now is shooting at every 4th beat or something like that. And as of now, there aren't many. We haven't implemented the actual some of the post-processing effects as of yet. They'll be easy to implement during this week, but just wasn't enough time to put it in for right now. But we do have all the requirements in the engine, so it will be able to complete. And yeah, that's all we have for right now. Some of these assets are still the same from last time, so the background that will be changed, and the skybox right now is also default, so that will also be changed. And yeah, that is everything.
All right, thank you for that interesting concept at the end. I think you guys pulled it together, so I think there's some really good stuff. My recommendation is that the shadows are quite long, and it looks like you got a bit of Peter Panning happening. I'm not sure if that was intended, but it looks like there's a bit of separation between the shadows and the I guess the baddies.
I was wondering about that too, because I did do what I did. I did draw using I reversed the backface fill. I reversed to backface culling for drawing the shadows, but it still did that. So I'm wondering why that's happened. I'm still trying to figure that out. But
yeah, otherwise, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's just one of that's the only issue. And so I would probably change your directional light just to make it so that it's not necessarily from such an angle. That might be one of the issues that you're having, right? So make it kind of make it a little bit kind of a different angle, like higher up than where it is right now. And then, but otherwise, it looks very interesting. I love the beat. And this is kind of Emery. Whenever you do something, I always think about music anyway. So this kind of goes in line with what you and your team are doing. So really great job, guys. I'm really happy that you guys pulled something together. Thank you for that. All right, if we can move on to BitDisc, please. Thank you for that, guys. Sorry, I would spend more time with you, but we're on a schedule. So go ahead.
All right. Hang on. Yeah, let me just get PowerPoint presenting real quick here.
No problem.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So hi, I'm Noah. I'm presenting here for BitDisc. This is our checkpoint 4. And for our team list, we have Robson Pasha, who is our generalist and audio engineer. There is myself, Noah Glassford, who is the lead software engineer. There's Clark Parrott, who is our game producer. There's Mitchell Block, who is a game designer, and Alan Dong, who is our technical artist. So what is Project Dragon? Go quickly here. So Project Dragon is a magic-based first-person shooter, and we've taken a lot of inspiration from old Kung Fu movies like Enter the Dragon and Kung Fu video games like Mortal Kombat. An ancient force is summoning elemental monsters to destroy a temple, and we have randomly generated levels. So for our mechanics, again, all our basic weapons are implemented. We still have our randomly generated levels, and we're still kind of funny for general cartoonish art style, although I do need to re-add cell shading to the new shaders I made because I finally switched to a G buffer because we're using a lot of point lights. And element-based designs for enemies, and our environments are inspired by sort of old Kung Fu movies and such, where it's sort of set in a temple. So, current progress. Lighting is completed. I think maybe we're missing emissive and rim lighting, but I was looking into it, and it doesn't look too hard, so I'll probably just add that later today. Our texturing is also completed. Our post-process color grading is also completed. Our bloom is almost done. We just need to add the different blur types and the way to toggle between them. We are also done shadow mapping and tune shading. I just need to basically copy paste a couple lines into the new shader, which I didn't have time to do for the presentation. And now I will do a quick demo. It's just loading, so. You can see the stream now.
Yep.
So yeah, as you can see, we have the shadows here. The hands aren't casting shadows, so it looks really off. We see the enemies and such are casting shadows and moving around now, which they weren't before because some of it broke. We do have textures for these. I just haven't put them into the game yet, but they're just like in the files. I didn't have time to switch them over. And I'll go over my toggles here real quick. So I have a toggle textures, which just doesn't sample the textures in one of the shaders. I can toggle the color correct. Oh, shoot. Forget that happened. Okay, we'll have to reload. 1 second. I think I set the slider so I can go too far in it, one outside of the vector. So, all right, so yeah, you saw color correct was working. Bloom is as well. So there isn't much with the threshold and all that, but we can add blur passes, and there isn't anything that's really bright in the scene. But I'm sure if you see as I slide this over, you can see there's the threshold where it sort of picks everything, and I can also turn off the lighting, which disables all the calculations for directional light and point lights. I think I'm missing the additional shader, which cell shading one should be fairly quick to implement. And I also plan on adding one more. I forget what it was called. I was talking to someone about it. It was a specific way of doing the outline shader with a G buffer. Like I was talking to Nick about it. It was Sobel outlines. So I'm going to look into getting that done as well, so that the cartoon cell shading thing is more complete than just a cell shading. So yeah, that's the end of our demo.
All right, thank you for that. So quite a bit of work for you to do by Friday. You're going to be okay with all that stuff?
Yeah, I should be.
Okay. It looks like there's a lot. Like you've got like stuff that isn't really implemented. So
yeah. It's pretty much just a bunch of stuff that's in the game files that I just need to load in and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I should be really good.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you for that update. Okay, raw chicken productions. You're up, followed by getting closer to retirement.
Okay. Hello. I will present it. Okay. Can everyone see?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me. Okay. So we have chicken productions, and this is our 24. So this is our team. We have me and Jonathan, all of our roles. Our game is Project Poultry, and just a recap of what it's about. It's a 3D puzzle game where you are controlling a chicken, which is part robot, part chicken, and he's trying to escape a factory by solving puzzles that are based on logic gates, such as AND gates and OR gates. And you got to solve the puzzle to go to the next room in order to solve the next puzzle to escape the factory. And what's the theme? Science fiction exploration, problem solving. So let's get into the demo. I haven't run it yet. Probably would have been a good idea. So what we have done and changed recently, we have completed all of our line components. We have done blending, we finished boiling, we finished shot, and we have added a few new mechanics to the game that people haven't seen yet, I don't think. So I will show them off now. Once this loads. So this is our menu space. It'll launch us into our main menu level, which we have finally completed. Here it loads. So here we're using our added effect that we chose to be film grain. So we wanted to make it look like kind of like a CCTV security camera, like we were mentioning a few weeks ago. So finally did that. The camera does not move, and you can walk around. And to get to the first level, you just click the first button and you walk through the start button. So some of the other effects we have added, you can toggle different color correction modes. So we have bright mode and we have colorblind mode, and we can turn textures off. Oops, I accidentally clicked the wrong thing again. Let me make this full screen. Why can't I see this? Okay, I need this. Hold on. This is being very weird. Now it's working. Okay. There we go. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay. So if we go into level 1, we can show up. We have a light toggle to turn off lighting, so it doesn't do any lighting calculations at all. We have different effects. So we have the no effect, grayscale, sepia, our main color correction, which is it just makes the game look a lot nicer in general. So we're keeping this on. We have film grain as well. We even have pixelate, and we have bloom working with the threshold we can change and the blur value we can change. And we have the ability to pause, and we can restart, exit, and open our options menu. This is what our options menu look like. We're going to be finishing implementing the options menu hopefully today, if not tomorrow. And we added the new ability to be able to click shift and see the top view of the level, because a lot of people were saying that they can't always see everything that's in the level because, for example, in the later levels, there's a lot of gates. Oops, that one's not there yet. In the later levels, there's a lot of gates, and you have to be able to see the whole level as one. So we added the ability to click shift and you see the top view. So that's essentially everything that I did. All the comments are there. You saw shadows, you saw bloom, the lighting, everything is there, and all that. So NDA mechanics, we have the pause menu by pressing P. You can progress through levels by walking through the doors after you solve the puzzle. You can interact with buttons and tablets by pressing E. You can toggle a top view camera to view the entire level by clicking Shift. And the options menu is available from the pause menu. For dynamics, we have the collision with the player and the surrounding objects in the scene, such as the buttons and the walls. And we have interaction between the buttons and the tablets. By again, pressing E, you just walk up to them, interact with them. And we have right now we have 5 different working logic gates in 7 different levels, but we will be at least 2 more levels by the end of by Thursday. And then our aesthetics, there's challenge, narrative, discovery, fantasy, and we have the expectation of. And here are all the requirements. Color correction is done. We have more than 3 different color correction modes. We have bloom with the ability to affect its threshold and blur level. Shadow mapping is done. We don't have any Peter panning, and we have PCF shadows. Our optional effect is film grain effect, which we are using at the next level. Texturing is done. It has the ability to toggle on and off. Lighting is done, and all the other essentials are completed. So thank you. Sorry, that was a big mess.
No, that was great progress that you showed. You know what? Just thinking about it now, it would have been really cool if you could also have. I know you have a top-down kind of camera. It'd be nice if you could use that in a mini map as an option to turn on a mini map while you're playing. That'd be really cool too. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's great. I think you've done really good. Who was the person that did the animations for your robot chicken?
That would be Chris.
Again, I think the idle animation and the way just some of the stuff that's been put into play really shows in this demo, the one you did today. The other thing that I want to mention was from a texturing perspective, are you going to change the texturing of the main character at all, or is it going to be like, because it kind of looks like unlit to some degree? Is that just an effect of the way you have the lights, or what are your plans for that?
Well, we've implemented lighting fully, but we still plan on changing like it looks a little bit in some of the levels to make it maybe look a little nicer and more obvious lighting there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have everything there. We just can change it around to make it look better.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it needs a little bit more. That's the only thing I would say that is, I'm not going to say missing, but I think it needs to be added. It's something that you need to do to your main character. Otherwise, I mean, the animations are great. The way it looks, the way it walks, and everything is just it works great. It's just that one little thing. Otherwise, really great progress. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, getting closer to retirement. You're up, followed by Free World Studio, and then High Keaton Games.
Hey. Don't know if my camera's working.
Nope.
Do you need my face, or is it fine if
I'm good. No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So hi everyone. We are getting closer to Retirement Studios, and this is our final checkpoint. So we'll just do a quick rundown of the team. We got James, Fred, Alex, Anita, and myself. You guys have seen our faces many a time, so I don't think I need to spend too much time on this slide, so we can just go to the next one. So Birthday Splash Bash is a 1 versus 1 kind of dueling game, with the mechanic being golden gun. So every time you fire a bullet, you have to pick up a new one to be able to fire again. And the first person to get to 3 points, to shoot the enemy 3 times, is the winner. So if we go to our MDA, so it's 1v1 split into different rounds. It is in a third-person view. The gameplay is quick, and the controls are hard to master. They're a little bit more unique than most people's controls, I would say. But with the controller support, it feels a little bit better. And yeah, for aesthetics, it's cartoon-based, bright, and fun. We go into our GDW requirements. So we originally had thought that we were done in the lighting category, but we realized that we only had the ambient, specular, and diffuse lighting. We are missing the rim and emissive lighting. So those are being worked on and are planned to be implemented. As for texturing, bloom, color correction, shadow mapping, and our optional post-processing effect, they are all implemented and are on toggleable levels, because some of them don't work or don't look good. They work perfectly fine, like they're doing everything they should be, but I'll explain that in a little bit. So if we go to our next slide. So these are our map iterations. We started with the first map, that was like first semester, our final product. Second map was earlier on in this semester, and then we got to our final version, which is the next slide. This is what we currently have in the game. As you can see, there aren't any shadows. We'll toggle those on for you in the demo to show you what those look like, but the main reason we don't have them starting toggled on is because it makes it look really chaotic. A lot of the issues with it is our floor isn't actually flat, like there's a little bit of elevation in different parts of it. So when things are being cast onto the ground, sometimes your character will be going through the ground, and like the shadow will be cast really weird. And that's not something that we really have time to change, but we do want to show you that we do have shadows implemented. So I'll pass it off to Alex here to demo it, and yeah, thank you.
Well,
Hey there, go ahead.
So here's our game. We can see the characters moving around here. We have an animation at the bottom there for the bottle and shoe. And if I go into the pause menu, we can have our toggles from the lighting, ambient, specular, both of them, everything. And textures off and on. And here's shadows in the game. As Ray said, they don't look the best here, so we just keep it off as default when you run the game. And the effect controls here, we have bloom, so I just need to turn it up here for the blur pass. It works in game as well. Same with color correction here, home grain, and we also have pixel. Okay, that's about it. Game. So let's
All right, so general comments for you guys are, again, kind of what I said earlier from a shadow perspective. You may want to try changing your directional light, the angle of your directional light, so it's a little bit higher up. So the shadows look almost like direct, kind of underneath the character. You can also change the opacity of the shadows so they're not quite as dark. I think one of the challenges that you guys have is because of your topology of your map. That's what that you were saying. It's kind of there's you've got different elevation levels, but what you can do is if you kind of kind of put the directional light kind of more overhead, that might be something that would reduce the shadow distance, how far the shadows cast from your character, which could add a little bit of realism. Again, it's something you have to play with. I'm not sure you're gonna have the time to take care of by Friday, but it's something that might help you out. Otherwise, I think again, it's really coming together from you guys, compared to what I saw earlier in the semester. So really going forward, it looks more like a game that's, that I get what the concept is now. You can see it. Whereas earlier we had to kind of more of imagine what it was going to look like compared to what it is now. So really great work in terms of your progress. I'm just looking for, I want to see what you guys are going to do with the shadow at the end. Okay. And
we'll try to with that. Thank you.
yeah, the other thing that I was going to ask was for your emissive and your rim lighting that you mentioned. What are your plans? Are you just going to turn it on and off as a toggle again, or are you going to actually incorporate it into your game?
Probably just this.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not sure how you're going to do that. Again, unless you have some kind of Sabelle effect again for like an outline shader might look really great too, because there's so much. Your scene is very busy, and so outlining might be really cool for your main character, just to really kind of highlight the fact that that's the controllable character, and or anything else that you want to focus, the player's attention on. You can create this kind of like an outline effect. So that's something else you might want to consider. Again, I'm not sure you're going to have the time to do it by Friday, but it's my 2 cents.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Free Will Studio, whenever you're ready.
Mic check.
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, forgot to unmute myself. And can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. This is Free World Studios, and this is checkpoint 4.
So I'm Andy. I'm the generalist programmer, 3D modeler, and gameplay programmer.
I'm the control check and the technical part. I'm Jonathan Barr, and I'm the audio engineer.
I'm Freddie Pistol. I'm the lead software engineer and game designer. And Hussein's our music producer.
So as for our MDA, not much has changed. The mechanics are still WSD move, shift to sprint, base to jump, and E to interact. The dynamic of the game is also similar. The objective is to traverse the islands while collecting specified items and complete small tasks, such as collect a coin and give it to the wizard. In the aesthetics, we went for cartoon, vibrant, fantasy type feel, which is reflected in our choice of tube shader and colors.
Right, now on to the demo. Wait, give me 1 second. I don't think I was sharing the whole screen. And there we go. There you go. Okay. So, again, we have our main menu here. We can controls, play or exit. We have our intro cutscene that starts up. You can skip that with the entry to go to the next slide over there. Then we have our main game. As you can see, we have shadows all working and done. We have our shader outline. We added emissive to the coin to make it pop out a bit more. We have our effects that we have. We're using a boom right now. We have our 2 cool and warm what's called color correction effects that are being used in the second and third level. We also have our vignette effect and a pixelate effect that we're planning on using on the final level, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. Obviously, you could change the blur value and the brightness threshold for the room. You can toggle textures now that we didn't have before. And we have, not over there. For our shading toggles, we have the no lighting, ambient, and all both toggles. And one of the biggest changes that we have is this little prompt over here. It'll pan in on the wizard. He'll say his dialogue right there. Click to continue. He'll tell you about all these cool things. And then he'll ask for a coin. Go out, find one. Then go back to him. I'll say, why thank you, and then after a while, we'll go over there, and then you can progress. We have our second level, which we redid fully. We have our 2 puzzles over here to the left and to the right. And if we progress a little bit more, we have our third level. We revamped the whole textures and the whole level. We have the skybox redone, but we just didn't add it in yet. We didn't switch it. We redid the platforms for the level. We're just having planning on having the player jump through the portal, and we have a cutscene that's ready and made. We just haven't done the transition from the player jumping into the portal. And that's it for the demo. If I go back here.
Oh, sorry. So for what's new, we have a new revamped Fire Island. We've added gameplay elements to Tiny Island. We've added images of lighting. We've fixed various bugs. Textures and objects to toggle on and off the screen instead, and we've added interaction and dialogue.
As for line components, as you can see, we have our lighting, we have ambient diffuse, specular, etc. We also have emissive lighting, as you can see on the coin. We do have tune shading as well, as you can see, as well as textures, obviously, color correction for the second and third level. We have the more cool. We also have bloom for the first level. We have shadow mapping working on all our levels, and we have the vignette post effect completed, as you can see, but we're still implementing it gameplay wise. So it'll be a red vignette for when you take damage, and it'll get gradually more intense. We also have texture toggling, as you can see in the demo.
And yeah, thanks very much.
Guys, again, wow, really, what progress from last time? Like, I mean, really amazing progress for your game, and I mean that in terms of like, there was so much for you to do. I thought you had a big scope with the type of game you're making, and then now that I've seen this, I think you guys have a really nice game. I love the idea. It makes sense now with the cutscene and everything else that you showed from the last time I saw the game. And so I see what you're doing now with the wizard and everything. I get it, and I think it's really great. All the effects that I've asked for GW for me, other than the vignette that you have to implement as gameplay, again, looks really great, works for your game. You can toggle some of those things on and off, which I'm really happy with. Overall, super happy with your outcome. So great work, guys. Really great work. All right, Hi Keaton Games, you're up, followed by working title.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right. So we're Hi Keaton Games from our final checkpoint. Our team members over again. Just breeze past that. So to review our concept, we have Play Chase, which is a first-person kind of dungeon crawler, kind of like a maze game where you find all the tokens, you open an exit, and then while evading this enemy, takes place in those like little places, like in fast food places. So it's a horror game, playing off of like the claustrophobia and anxiety from like this like tight corridor. So it's first person. Your whole objective is to collect these coins while avoiding the enemy. When you get all of them, it opens the exit and you complete the level. So right away, we'll jump into the demo. As you can see here, we get into the demo. We have this little deposit area, and if you look, right now I froze the enemy for testing purposes, but if we look in, we can go and the enemy has animations now. We have all of the lighting in. We're still working on actually adding emissive and rim lighting, which we will probably get in by the end of today. But on top of that, we'll look at some of the post effects. So right now there's a subtle film pane. I can turn it up here. We also have our bloom in. That also has various controls. We also have a pixelation effect, optional, but it does work. So to just take it back here, we can also look at our various color correction. So some of the toggles we're actually re-implementing, mainly because we switched to the G buffer. But let me get rid of that. Yeah, so these are our post effects. We mainly have everything in. There's also sound, all the line components for the other courses. So to go back here, we can look at all of our line components, which we're pretty much all set on, except we're adding some more toggles in, and I'm putting in point lighting right now, but didn't make it to this version of the demo. So that's in progress, and we'll have that for hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, it was our demo. And
all right,
that is 6.4.
Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah, I was going to ask about point lighting because your shadows. Can you show me? Can you go back to your demo for 1 sec? When you go into that, yeah. So I mean, I see that the shadow. Where is that shadow coming from? Like, what light is generating that shadow?
It's just the direction light that's above, so that's why we're putting in point lighting, because like it looks wonky, right?
It doesn't look wonky. I think it looks neat, but it's just that it's halfway across the your interface, right? So it's kind of like throughout the entire thing. So I might again do what I said with the other groups, which is change the directional light, where it's coming from. You might want to choose another, like play with the angle a little bit so that it doesn't look as wonky. When you add in your point lights again, where are you going to add them, and how does that make sense in your game? Are you going to add it on the character that's walking through, almost like a flashlight? Yeah, that might really help. That might really brighten the scene as you move through. I think that's something that is really good. The other thing is that from a realism and immersion perspective, we don't see personal shadows. Like you don't see your own shadows, coming in. But something like a flashlight or something like that. I mean, again, it's really hard for you to implement over the next couple of days. But even if it's a point light, if it's not a some kind of spotlight would make the most sense. But a point light would probably make this even better. And now, if I'm not wrong, this was procedurally generated, this map as well?
No. So this one is just handcrafted right now.
Yeah.
For testing. Yeah.
Okay, but really good. Like it's I see that everything from your textures, like there's a lot of stuff that you've added in. Again, compared to the first time I saw this, really, really good. But think about what you're going to do with that lighting for Friday, because I think it's going to make your game really pop at the end.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's the main thing, is we're going to disable this directional light and replace it with the point light on the character.
Yeah.
Just to fix this up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Great. Thank you. All right, working title. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
All right. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right, I'm ready.
Marin.
Mark Version.
And this is Endless Space. So this is us. Roles are still been unchanged. We're still keeping it simple. To reiterate, we're making it Endless Runner.
Player will control a spaceship, try to avoid crashing. We'll have some pretty simple assets now that we put in. This is the spaceship. I textured it now, and yeah.
So for computer graphics requirements, everything is pretty much completed. In terms of the lighting, we still have to do emissive and rim lighting. And we also have to add in a few texture toggles, which toggles off texture. For bloom, we have Gaussian blur, but we don't have radial blur and box blur, but we'll be adding that in before our final submission. And we're currently working on our demo video and live demo. So for demo, fire through the door. So as you can see now, we have the meteors moving towards us to make them an actual endless runner. And we have the meteors continuously spawning in. And like before, when you collide with a meteor, you get the death animation, which is the pixelation effect. As before, we've had all of our other post-processing effects already implemented. So we have bloom still, we can change the threshold and the amount of blur passes. We have our film grain effect, so we can change the strength. And we have our color correction effects, so grayscale, sepia, and our morning cool and custom color correction. We have this really strange issue where the skybox is having a mess up with the meteors kind of passing through. We still need to figure that out, but otherwise the game is pretty much finished. So thank you.
Yeah, I think for the game that you guys put together, again, really good work for the last version. Especially with your, can you launch that again for a second and go back to and put some color grain, your color correction on for the kind of that warm effect. Can you do that for a second? That looks really. That looks really great from what I was going to say from like almost like a lava world. It creates that effect, even though it's just, and this is a good example of how color grading can really make a huge difference in the way that the game can look, right? And it's the same world, but it can make it look like a different world, right? I'm curious, for your meteors, when you say they're spawning in, are you instantiating and destroying? What are you doing?
So basically we spawn it, as you can see, it's all spawning in right now. To sort of save, I guess, performance, instead of respawning them, we just change the positions of them.
That's good.
So when they pass through, you can kind of see them disappearing, and then we just pass them back into a new position.
Are you using any kind of so it's not quite an object pool that you're using, but it's almost an object pool from what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good optimization.
Short on time.
Yeah, no,
it's a quick solution.
It's a good optimization method. And again, the shadows work a lot. Things that are probably missing if it was a game that you were going to put on for Gamecon, things like particle effects, explosions, those kind of things, and sound, right? So, but otherwise, I think you guys got what you need here. So it's pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Meteor Night Studio with Bloody Melon. If you're up, followed by Joseph DeLisi, and then finally JPEG. Can't hear you, but we can see your screen. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Hi everyone. There is the Meteor Night Studio 2.4 show demo. And the team is still the same team as before. And our game is called Bloody Melon. It's a shooting game, and there they are the watermelon to pass the kitchen table and defeat enemies to the switch. And the basic game mechanic is player died at one attack and also player can shoot Mylan to defeat enemy or avoid trap something. And for the city requirement progress, we have basically everything done. We add the animation to the game and finish the lighting. And for the process, we have a little bit issue in the bloom. We done the basic bloom effect, but we don't have the multi-path blur right now, and we will finish it I think today or tomorrow. And other thing basically that we have pixelation effect and the film grain effect and shadow mapping is done, but we need to have some improvement and change the direction of the light. But it's basically done. And let me show the game demo. Here's our game, and as you can see, since last checkpoint we add the animation, their animation, and add enemy into the game, have the shooting mechanic. For the box effect, we have appear effect with skill and with pixelation. We can change the intensity of the bloom, also the film grain effect. And we done the color correction, but it's not shown now. But we just need to change the input to finish, but it's basically done. Right, that's it. Thanks for listening.
All right. Thank you for that. If we can move on to Joseph DeLisi, please.
Okay.
All right, we heard you, but we don't see you at the end. Guys, we're running just a little bit over, so we should be finished almost exactly on time, but just a bit over. Go ahead, Joseph.
Sorry, please see it?
Yep, I can see your screen starting to share, but it's I don't see anything in the screen. Are you paused? Bless you.
No.
There you go. Starting to come out now.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, we're good to go.
So my name is Joseph DeLisi. This is my checkpoint 4. So I'm a non-GDW in creating a project all on my own. So since I'm on my own in non-GDW, it's very simple. Basically, it's just a survival game where you're a little tank heading off UFO alien invaders for as long as possible. So for the GDW requirement, for the lighting, everything is done except for the emissions and RAM. The lighting is deferred. The toggles are in progress. I can turn off just the light, so it's just the ambient color, but I'm working on separating them out. For the texturing, that's all complete and the instrument on and off. For post-processing, I've got 3 different color correction processes. Sepia, the grayscale, and one that balances out the color to make
the objects are more contrasting, so they pop out more. The shadow mapping is directional, but it's implemented. And for my optional one, I've done pixelation, which is complete. And blue right now is still in progress. So here we have my game. Right now I've paused the enemies from attacking just so I can show off some of the effects. So this is the color balancing, color correction. So here you can see the tank kind of pops out more and so do the enemies. Whereas here it kind of all looks like it has a cool color correction. But here's the sepia, grayscale, regular, and pixelation.
Wait.为啥我就就确认一下他那个我才
So and if I press this, I can turn on the enemies, I can shoot them, and they respawn from a random direction. I need to fix where some of them spawn in the same direction and overlap each other. So yeah, they come in from different angles, and the more you kill them, the faster they come. So progressively gets harder and harder to fend them off. Here's the textures turning on and off, and just taking off the lighting effect, so it's just the ambient. But that's everything I have.
Good work, Joseph. That's good. Thank you. All right. Last but not least, JPEG. If I can get you guys on deck, that'd be great.
Hello? Mic check.
We're good.
Perfect. All good? Okay, let me get my stuff out. Move it on. Let's stuff open. There you go. Yeah, I see it. All right, so already?
Yep.
Okay. So we're in JPEG, and here's Mecha Mayhem. So here's our group members. Same as before, you've seen it a million times. So for our overview, same as always, Mecha Mayhem is a third-person shooter, couch party arena brawler for 2 to 4 players. Takes place in a mechanical simulation where robots fight to see who's the winner. And our simulated combat is the theme of our game. So main mechanics, basic stuff, jumping, punching, shooting. We have the dash ability, and we have the weapons that you have to keep picking up new ones when they run out of ammo. For our dynamic, we have an arena brawler where everyone's aiming to defeat everyone else as many times as possible. And for aesthetic, we have a variety of characters with more serious art styles and some more cartoony art styles. And so players can pick which one they prefer. And we have a very heavy duty and metallic build.
Okay. CU requirements, we are basically done. We just don't have the multiple types of blur that we need for the bloom. And we have also 2 post-processing. So yeah, we have a emissive and rim. We just don't have any of the toggles that we can show. So let me just get the right folder and boot up the game. There is rim lighting on the title, but you can't really see it all that well. We also re-added the multi-lights we had at the start of the semester that were removed for deferred rendering, which is why the title text is blooming so much, because the light's following the title screen, and because the angle changes, it changes the position. Anyway, so if I join, you can see that there's rim lighting around the character. All characters have this, which gives them a nice shiny look. And we also added a toggle for the types of mode. We have timed and that. But in the tutorial, we can show the emissive. So these TV screens are emissive because they don't receive any shadows or are affected by any of the other lights. That just helps make them more readable. And you might be able to see a bit of the rim around of that character. His color scheme does not work out well, and the fact that all characters are low poly means that the normals are always at not great angles for rim lighting. One thing after adding the deferred rendering, we were able to bring back the transparency on our lasers. So those are transparent again. And there is a point light here. You can see that the player is a lot brighter. If I run a multiplayer game, you'll be able to see the point lights better because we have it set up to be, what's it called? Following the players. So there's a point light where the player is. And there's a point light there, and yeah. The bloom was in the main menu. There is color correction when the game ends. So if I force the game to end, we have a pale color correction cube getting applied. And yeah, there's a depth of field in the main menu too. Yeah, that's about it.
Again, wonderful progress for you guys as well. Like there's been, I think that's a general theme of today. So really great work, guys. Okay, thank you for that, everyone. I think that's fantastic that that I've seen, you know, all of your projects, and I see a lot of great progress, like we said before. So just a few last thoughts before we go, and I'll answer some of your questions too, because there's been some stuff on chat that I couldn't answer until now. I know that we're running a little bit over time. Please bear with me. But a couple things to note that we've talked about earlier is lots of great work, lots of progress. Like, I mean, again, from when I saw you first, and you can see them, they're all of the checkpoints are recorded and online, right? So take a look at your own checkpoints, all right, if you want to see your progress. I think it's some amazing progress you guys have done. Huge learning and implementation of CG concepts that you guys have put on. So really proud of all of you, you know, in terms of, you know, what you've put out. Looking forward to seeing all of your games at Gamecon on Friday. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. I just have a couple of questions to answer, and then I think we're good for the day. Again, just a reminder that next week we're going to start off with our final exam. So please look out for that. Again, for those people who came in a little late, just wanted to mention that. But otherwise, yeah, Joseph had a question. It says, did you say non-GW are doing something other than a report and GW requirements? No, I think everyone's doing the same thing. Joseph, there's nothing that is different for you than anyone else. Okay, so you guys are doing the same stuff. Otherwise, that's really it in a nutshell, guys. Fantastic work. Super happy with your output, like I said. And I know that one note coming from Nick is again, I think he's really happy with the quality of your assignments that he's seen and everything else, and even the midterm exam. For those people who have outstanding assignments for various reasons, things like there might be an error in your submission or something like that. I know there's a couple of people that had that in the midterm. Please connect with me so we can fix that. I'd like to fix that up for you guys. I did get a couple of notes, but let's make sure we do that before next week if we can. So maybe by Friday, I'd like to kind of meet with those people who have issues. So please make time with me. Ding me on Discord, I think is the best way to connect with me, and then we can fix everything up. Otherwise, guys, fantastic work. Really happy with your group, and I was really happy to be a part of you know, working with you guys on developing your games, even from a CG perspective. So thank you so much for participating and being you know, kind of doing everything in the course. And yeah, I can't say enough about the stuff that I've seen today. So thank you so much, guys. And really, that's it. One thing I would actually ask is if you haven't had a chance to do your survey, At least for Nick, I would wholeheartedly ask you guys to take a chance to give Nick some feedback on the survey. I think he's done a great job in my opinion, but again, that's on you. If you want to give any kind of feedback, it'd be fantastic for him to hear from you. Get feedback. It makes his work and the job that he does and the effort that he puts in really pay off. All right. So otherwise, that's it, guys. Great semester and good luck on your exams. I will be around over the exam period, and so will Nick, to assist you guys throughout the entire time. So thank you so much, guys. And that's it for me. All right, I'll stop recording this, and then if you have any questions, I'll stick around. Otherwise, we're good.